I didn't want to come back to this channel for this particular. It's so incredibly dark. It's so dire, and it's such a severe circumstance. But this has been weighing on me so heavily, emotionally and mentally. I'm exhausted. There's many contributing factors to this that are more personal, but this is one of those contributing factors, and that was Astrofest that occurred last Friday. And due to the lack of organization, due to the lack of medical support, the crowd crush, all this type of stuff, the lack of knowing when enough is enough and when to stop, we've unfortunately seen 8 people pass away, 11 people suffer cardiac arrests, and 300 people were injured. And this was a mess from the start. We had people jumping the barricades, and there are tweets, and Travis does encourage this behavior, and we have seen this multiple times. And while it hasn't gone unnoticed, it's gone unchecked, and he hasn't really been held accountable for this. And now we have experienced the worst of the worst. And what makes this even worse is that Travis definitely knew. And I know there's people that are saying just like he may have not known everything that was going on. But when you see an ambulance driving on the grounds to check on people, you should know something is wrong. When you're seeing a body being crowd surfed to receive medical aid, and while you did stop the event, and I'll give you that one, you stopped the event to make sure this person received the appropriate medical attention, you should realize that there needs to be some humanity in this moment, and realize this needs to stop. There needs to be some kind of recess. This needs to be halted so the appropriate people can be helped. The people that are literally suffocating standing up, the people that are crying for help, the people that are just laying on the ground unconscious. You need to understand that these people need to be helped, and that 15, 30 minutes, or even a day just to hold off this concert to make sure all of these things are followed, that needs to be priority first and forefront. Unfortunately, this did not happen. When this was considered a mass casualty event, this event went on for an extra 37 minutes. And Travis should have stopped the concert. He could have stopped the concert. There's been many instances where the main artist just halts the concert and stops the show. And while there are maybe people behind the scenes that make more of that official decision, you are the person that people want to see, and you are influencing these people. If you want to make sure your audience and your fans are okay, you should be able to have this authority and have this kind of authority, I guess. Like I said, you should be able to have this authority to say stop. I don't care if the concert organizers say to keep going. There is something going on down there, and I need to make sure that everything is okay. There are multiple videos being released of good examples of people halting the events to make sure people are being helped up, people are dehydrated, getting some water. I know the Lincoln Park video in particular is going viral at the moment. I know there was a video of Playboy Cardi just acknowledging, and even just acknowledging that something is going on, saying that people are passing out. That's so much more than just saying, what is that? Looking at an ambulance and just continuing on with the concert. And there's the Billie Eilish one where someone, I believe, is dehydrated. She literally got water to this person. And I believe like 5 other people got water to this person. And this reckless behavior, this reckless energy, while it creates incredible and memorable moments at a concert, when humanity starts to go to the wayside and you're more focused on the music and the artist instead of someone beside you that could be laying unconscious or like saying he can't breathe, that's a problem. That is a major, major problem. And when you have people jumping on the ambulance car and they're doing the whip nay-nay because they're total losers and they're taking Instagram videos of them literally dancing on the car when they're trying to get to someone that could be dying, that could be experiencing cardiac arrest, who could be down on the ground unconscious and has the possibility of being absolutely trampled by a mob of people, and you're dancing on a car. I'm sorry, the people that are on that car, the people that are there, I hope you get jail time. I hope you are held accountable. I hope you are ridiculed for a very long time. I hope those videos resurface all over the place, and I hope this gives you an understanding that your priorities are not straight. Your priorities are screwed. And I'm being very unfiltered in this moment, but that stuff pisses me off. That you're seeing people just unconscious, and your first line of decision or your first line of thinking is, this is going to make a great Instagram video. And you just jump on top of the car, and it's just, things are lit at the Astroworld Fest. Ambulance is here. I need to move on from that because I may say things worse. I feel like I could just go full into really interesting territory for those type of people, but I'm going to hold myself back. And I'm just going to go to who should be to blame. Travis does, the concert organizers do. Regardless of if there's any kind of legal responsibility to Travis or not, I believe he knew what was happening. He had some kind of idea what was happening, and he did have the power to stop this. And he literally saw a person being crowd surfed. And while crowds, like unconscious people, is not uncommon, it does happen when you see an ambulance and all this kind of stuff. You need to know something is going on. And this needs to change. And unfortunately, this is the catalyst of that change. And unfortunately, 8 people had to pass away for this to happen. And I am praying for the families who have lost loved ones, the people that have had family members, sons, daughters, all this kind of stuff that have been injured, that have been suffocated, all this kind of stuff. You should, if you're going to a concert, you should not worry about the risk of losing your life. You should not worry about the risk of suffocating standing up. You should not worry about the risk of a person going around with a needle and injecting drugs into unsuspecting people, causing overdoses. There needs to be a bump up of security. There needs to be a bump up of organization. There needs to be a bump up of realizing the gravity of having so many people in a condensed environment. And you need to make the correct steps to make sure everyone's safe and that everyone has the appropriate resources to reach the help that they need. And you should have responsible people to recognize that something is wrong, and that whether it's just a simple for people saying to back up or to halt the event or to make sure to make clear paths for medical staff and security to reach the appropriate people. All of this did not happen. All of the things that should have happened is, if this is a grade, this is an F. This is one of the worst ran events I've seen. And I think of other concerts and festivals, and I think of Fire Festival, where that's disaster, total disaster. But that, I don't believe it involved the loss of life. And it's more of just, that's just more of like a failure in more of like a grandiose front. But this is more of a financial hit than unfortunate loss of life. And of course there's TanaCon as well, and I do know about TanaCon. I watched a lot of documentaries about it, and I don't understand why we haven't got the understanding that these need a lot more preparation, a lot more resources put behind them, because they're huge events. I don't know why it took to this moment to get to that point. There are multiple lawsuits coming, and they are all well-deserved, and I hope people at least receive financial compensation, but I know for some people that is not enough. So I am praying for all the love, all the family and lost friends, lost family in this concert tragedy. And going forward, This is not going to be a quick resolution. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a very long and drawn out procedure where we're probably going to have an investigation and many witnesses coming forward, and there needs to be a point where we have to get to the bottom of this. There needs to be some kind of investigation to realize what went wrong, what procedures were followed, if the procedures were followed correctly, who was held liable for the stampede, is Travis held liable for a lot of this? Is he not? Maybe it's a lot of guessing game at this point in the aftermath of this terrible disaster, and unfortunately, it's gonna take a while, and it's just gonna be a lot of seeing a lot of bad things. We're gonna see a lot of depressing things because of this. It's not going to be a quick resolution. And if you are a Travis Scott fan, and I am as well, this has made it incredibly tough for me to go back to his music. And I am in shock of how bad this was run. And I am I'm just distraught that a concert where people were supposed to have a good time led to so much destruction, so much death, so many injuries, and you were on a stage and you just let this happen. I If you don't want to listen to Travis anymore, you are totally fine to do that. It's totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Me personally, though, I'm not going to be listening to Travis for a while. That's just me. You can call that going too far. You can call that blowing it out of proportion. But that's just how I feel. Not to mention the fact that the track was called Escape Plan. The track, the album artwork says the true dystopia is here. The fact that J. Cole says on the hook, even though this is not J. Cole's fault, but on the hook, still pouring up for my brothers that can't be around today. There's so many terrible coincidences, and all around this is a disaster. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry if this sounded kind of rambly, if it sounded kind of disjointed or discombobulated. I'm sorry that it sounded like this, but this is the only way I'm going to push out my frustration, push out my sadness, really, because to be personal, I'm going to a concert next month, and this makes me terrified. While it's a much smaller venue, while it's a punk concert, all this kind of stuff, and punk concert has this reputation of moshing and just beating each other up, but there's a respect there, there's a humanity there, and this still scares me. I still want to go, but I'm going to go incredibly guarded and cautious. And while, again, you may say this is too far or this is way over the boards, and it's just like, why are you worrying about these things? When you see something of this scale happen, it makes you question. And I don't know. I guess this is where the video ends. But rest in peace to all that unfortunately passed away from this event. I hope you receive some kind of therapy, some kind of mental health, grief counseling if you need it. I hope that there is a resolution to this, but know that everyone has your support. Everyone is alongside of you. Everyone is fighting for change. People now know that something needs to be addressed. Concert organizers need to be addressed. Travis Scott needs to be addressed. I hope that you receive some kind of closure. And if it takes a little while to get there, it's totally understandable. Because if your loved one or one of your friends went to this concert, they didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve any of this. They didn't deserve this lack of organization and this lack of anything. Whatever this Astroworld thing was. Anyways. And that's where I'm going to end off, I guess. So, stay safe, everybody. If you are going to a concert, make sure people around you are safe. Make sure if someone's fallen down or someone is in a bad way, that you acknowledge them, that you make sure they're okay. Make sure humanity comes first and the music goes off to the background if someone is in danger. Be a good person. Be a caring person. Be a compassionate person first and foremost. You can, if all else fails, like, you can listen to the music all the time. But if you're seeing a person in dire need of help, make sure your priorities are straight and make sure you are helping people. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a stranger. So again, rest in peace to all that passed away, all the people. And I wish, my prayers are with the people that are injured. My prayers are with the people that suffer cardiac arrests. The people thanking the medical staff that actually went to help and were there, even though they had a lack of maybe resources and lack of people. You did your best. You did. Security, you also did your best, I believe. But this is a total disaster. Everyone stay safe.